Men and women are in the habit of declaring their love without realizing that such behavior is entwined with an element of self-interest, of selfishness. They do everything they can to attract, win over, and make a captive of the person whom they are addressing, writing, or declaiming as poetically as possible, with carefully chosen gestures, words, and intonation. And these charmed, touched, and delighted addressees ends up being won over. When love has to be expressed, its purpose is to win over the loved one whilst at the same time preventing another from taking this person away. It is therefore selfishness and lack of faith in the power of love that guides human beings, since that they do not have the true love that works wonders. They rush to express their love by crude means, speaking, writing, or gesturing, in order to imprison the person they love. And if they claim that it is the power of their feelings that makes them act in this way, it is really their weaknesses, passion and sensuality they are emphasizing even more strongly. A true master does not express his love. There is no need, because you can feel his love. It radiates. Every human being has qualities and virtues that are waiting to manifest. That is why, rather than focusing on faults of his disciples, a master seeks to bring out all their divine capabilities. This is how I work on you, and that is also how you should work, by fostering sacred thoughts for each other. By fostering these sacred thoughts, you are no longer waylaid by any less glorious details. So you can concentrate on the divine principle in these beings. You are then doing a good work on your personal evolution and are also helping others. Whereas if you focus on their faults, you harm not only yourself, because you are, as it were, feeding yourself on impurities, but you also hamper others in their personal growth. It is a common mistake to think that you can help others to improve by stressing their faults. The truth is the exact opposite. However, you can only help others by focusing on their divine nature. You are having a nightmare. You dream you're being chased. You run, and then suddenly in front of you there is a ravine, and you plunge straight into it. How terrifying. When you wake up, you continue to live those dramatic events as if they were real. So reflect on these lines. If we can believe a dream to be true, it follows that we can believe reality is a dream. Yes, that is what sages do. Whatever happens to them, they tell themselves, I'm suffering, I'm worried, I feel as if I'm being chased, but it's all a dream, and when I wake up, it would all go away. You may say that this reasoning will not stop you from suffering. Of course not, but those who have nightmares also suffer. They toss and turn in bed, they cry out, and yet these reactions are triggered by illusionary experiences. In fact, that is why they tell themselves when they wake up. So you too, when you suffer, tell yourself it is not true. Do not imagine that simply by following a spiritual teaching, all your problems will be solved. No, far from it. In order to sort out our problems, we must set out a precise inner goal and draw up a program of work to achieve this goal. Once we have defined our targets, regardless of whether we have achieved them or not, at least these defined aims will have made an impression somewhere within us, and our subconscious forces are then obliged to circulate through the conduits formed by these intentions. If nothing is prepared beforehand in this way, The whole of our life passes by without achievements of any kind whatsoever. When rain falls, water is channeled along the gullies we have dug. We must therefore prepare the ground, digging out watercourses, so that new life may circulate within us. Anyone wishing to advance along the path of evolution must start by developing an awareness of the invisible world. But this is only a preliminary. We may accept that entities exist in space and inside us, and that energies circulate around and within us. But that is not enough. We must make an effort to collaborate with these entities and energies in order to work constructively together. Our homes, offices, and personal appearance, everything in the physical world, may be in immaculate order, and that is excellent. But inside, our thoughts and feelings may be in total disarray. Because it has not occurred to us that these thoughts and feelings exist in a world that is a reality, and it is important to work in this world to create order, harmony, and beauty. From now on, change your attitude. Recognize the reality of the invisible world, a reality far more important than the visible world, and concentrate on looking after it. Whenever we meet acquaintances or strangers, we make contact with our hands, by waving or shaking hands. But hands not only relate us to other people, they can also provide a link with nature. When you open your window or front door in the morning, get into the habit of greeting the whole of nature, the trees, sky, and sun, and say, "Good morning" to the whole of creation. What is the use of that? Is it helpful, you may ask? Yes, it is. Our whole day depends on this first essential gesture, which links us to the source of all life. The whole natural world will open itself to you in response to your greeting and send you supplies of energy the whole day through. The traumas of life, such as disease, suffering, and other trials, force people to make progress. What is war, for instance? It is an imbalance which the good use to become even better and the bad to become worse. Life creates these disturbances, this disequilibrium, forcing us to evolve and transform ourselves, or at least to reveal our true selves. Without trials or dangers, many of us would never have the chance to learn our true potential. This explains the behavior of those who, apparently honest, capable, and intelligent, are immediately transformed into terrible cowards or criminals under the pressure of trials and danger. On the other hand, in the same difficult conditions, apparently insignificant people can conduct themselves like heroes or saints. If we do not possess the qualities we wish to awaken in others, however hard we try, all our efforts will be doomed to failure. Nothing external can change human beings. I repeat, you must understand that there are no available external means with which to transform people. Some special element must be emanated from your heart, soul, and spirit, which vibrates and has the power to influence other people to imitate you. Without any special effort on your part, people will want to be like you. Perhaps this may not happen all at once because they cannot overnight get rid of all their inferior instincts and desires, but they will realize that you do have some luminous, warm and vibrant quality, and it is this light, warmth and vitality that they find compelling. Life is never the same. It ebbs and flows, ever changing, moving us and everything else along in its path. Today we may feel justly proud because we have managed to solve a problem, but tomorrow another development may appear which cannot be tackled with the same methods and approach. We constantly need to adapt our approach to each new circumstance as it arises. Know that life will always present us with different problems to resolve, and we need to find a particular unique solution for each one. For example, yesterday a good deed or generous gesture may have been the answer, but today a difficulty presents itself, perhaps needing the solution of reason or action or patience, or even by turning a deaf ear. Always, therefore, try to find the best method of dealing with every problem. Observe yourselves, and you will realize that your emotional life is largely made up of a subtle interchange or communication of thoughts and feelings which feeds and enriches you. You leave home in the morning, you meet friends you like or admire, you greet them and they return your greeting, and you all feel happy. These gestures of greeting are made through the intermediary of your feelings and thoughts, your soul and spirit. Even if you do not meet in the flesh people for whom you feel love and admiration, you can always hear on the radio or see on television people who do inspire such feelings. You may also be inspired and filled with wonder by reading, listening to beautiful music or contemplating works of art. These experiences are all interchanges with other beings through their masterpieces, arts. Give us something and we give something in exchange, in the form of admiration and love. But many of them are dead, you say. Physically they may be so, but the soul and spirit which created these masterpieces is immortal, always at hand to nourish and enrich our own souls and spirits. To understand how psychic energies circulate and work in human beings, we have to observe how they circulate and work in nature. Look at a tree. The higher its trunk and branches, the deeper its roots descend into the ground. This system of compensation exists on every plane, whether physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. So the higher our consciousness rises, the deeper we must descend into our subconscious. Those who decide to embrace the life of the spirit make a great mistake if they disregard the reality of the obscure world inside themselves. They imagine that just wanting to work for the light, to be wise, just and unselfish is enough to guarantee that they achieve these qualities. Sadly, it is not so. Every level of consciousness attained corresponds to a certain currents, energies and entities, and a spiritual person must watch carefully to maintain a correct balance between these two worlds. Each one of us must know when to show leniency and when to show severity. The whole of life and society is based on the balance between these two extremes. If we are always strict or always indulgent, what happens? Strength and gentleness are permanently opposite qualities, of course, and one cannot expect them to be otherwise. Both are necessary in life and in nature, just as they are, and our work is to know how to make use of them. When you need to act with severity, awaken tolerance in your heart, so you do not become hard and unjust. Do the opposite when you want to show kindness. Keep an element of severity so that your kindness is not taken as a sign of weakness, or that you will tolerate bad behavior. Yes, a correct balance always has to be found, and that is difficult.